The murder of George Floyd by police 1 year ago today resonates across America, along with calls for justice in the Louisiana State Police killing of Ronald Greene 2 years ago.
That's the topic of this week's commentary by Eyewitness News political analyst and Gambit columnist Clancy.
As America marks the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder by Minneapolis police, Louisiana State Police faces its own reckoning for the killing 2 years ago of Ronald Greene. Only in recent days have we learned that the state police covered up Greene's killing by not releasing body cam footage of troopers tasing and beating him as he pleaded for his life. The scandal of a state police cover-up has brought national attention and outrage, and calls for justice on the anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. State and federal agencies are conducting criminal investigations into Greene's killing, but that process takes time. Meanwhile, the governor needs to implement top-to-bottom reforms at the Louisiana State Police. That measure of justice can and should happen quickly.
This has been an expression of opinion by Clancy. Email your thoughts to commentary@wwltv.com.